Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Awesome. I want to have a little chat with you because obviously you came over to Liverpool for the fight against Molly McCann, and that must have been a really interesting experience because being at Molly's fights on Cage Warriors before and knowing what her fans are like the amount of support she had in that arena that night was crazy, and it was definitely when she was walking out. How do you approach that? I mean, you were there with a very small team of people. How did you stay strong in that moment?
Honestly, I feel like the crowd doesn't make much of a difference to me. I
Really?
feel like it's more the opponent. For that fight, for some reason, that was one of the fights I was most nervous for. Like, just Molly's name and watching her previous fights, like, she was walking through a lot of these girls. She was 7-2 Cage Warriors champ, and like, I was really nervous for that fight, but I feel like it almost helped me perform better.
Right.
I feel like that was one of my strongest performances I've ever had. But I don't know, every fight that I've had, literally almost every single fight that my pro fights have been in my opponent's hometown.
Right.
So it's
So
like
it's kind of normal for you. Then.
yeah, my first UFC fight was in Las Vegas against a girl from Las Vegas, then Liverpool with a girl from Liverpool, and Sao Paulo with a girl from Sao Paulo. It's just, yeah, the crowd doesn't make much of a difference. I feel like it's just me and the other girl in there, and that's all I see.
So would it be weird if you were fighting in front of a crowd that was supporting you now then?
I don't know, it's definitely going to be a change. It's
Yeah.
but like, I feel like it's just, you're so zoned in, really. I don't see anything outside the cage. It's just me and the other girl, and that I'm in there and I have a goal and I'm just getting to my destination.
Yeah. Oh, and tell me about your relationship with Din Thomas, because he's an amazing coach. He's an incredible coach, and I love watching him work. But you guys' relationship's really, really strong. I mean, you can tell how much trust you have in him as a coach. Why is that? I mean, does it help that he used to fight for the UFC?
It definitely helps that he used to fight for the UFC, but I've worked with Dean since I was 16 years old, so it's like, literally, I never played a sport in my life. I volunteered at the Humane Society, I volunteered at a horse rescue, I volunteered at a wildlife rescue, and I just wanted to try kickboxing when I was 16. So I started at Dean School in Port St. Lucie. It's like an hour and a half north from here, and I didn't even know what the UFC was. So it's like I didn't even know who Dean was. Like, it wasn't like he was like who he is to me now. I'm like, he's a veteran of the sport. He's a legend. But like back then, I was just like, I'm just gonna try cardio kickboxing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it just kind of escalated.
Yeah. So how did you go? Because although you're a very good MMA fighter, it seems your favorite thing is the grappling. I mean, you're very strong on the ground. What was the transition from the kickboxing to the jiu-jitsu?
I started with cardio kickboxing, then a couple months later I did like an MMA kind of grappling class. And I never wanted to do gi. Just like,
No?
I don't know, being a 16-year-old girl looking at a gi, I'm like, I don't want to put on those. Like, I don't want to wear that. And a year and a half later, I don't know, I eventually got pushed into it. And then once I did, I fell in love. I feel like I just clicked. Like, the second I started jiu-jitsu, I was training it like 9 times a week, like 2 times a day, like all the time. Like, I fell in love with it.
And what do you find in the differences between gi and no gi when it comes to grappling?
There's definitely a lot of differences, but I love them both.
Yeah.
I love being in the gi, but I love no gi too. They're both, it's just different games, they're different worlds, really. It's like, even just in the gi, people will play on their backs, where MMA, people are trying to stand up the whole time. So it's like, it's just, you get a completely different look from the different type of people, and it's just, even if it's no gi versus MMA, it's still a completely different look. And I love all the sports of it, though. I love any type of grappling, I love wrestling, I love stand-up too, it's just I struggle with it a little bit more.
So do you take the gi stuff out as you go into training camp then, or do you still do gi throughout your preparation?
Since I've moved down to Coconut Creek, I haven't trained a lot of gi anymore. When I first started training, all I did was gi. I was in the gi like 5 days a week, probably, like all the time. I love the gi. But now I'll get in it every once in a while, but I hardly do train gi. This camp I actually want to implement it more a little bit because of my opponent. Being Sarah Ferota, I feel like she's more of a traditional jiu-jitsu girl instead of like an MMA kind of girl, where she's going to play on her back a little bit more. So I feel like it might help me to play in the gi a little bit more with people who are willing to stay on their back, people who aren't trying to stand up on me constantly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she fights on her back all the time, and something that stood out to me about Ferota's game is how good she is at using her butterfly hooks and trying to get people moving. Do you think that there's an advantage to the fact that you've done gi and no gi, and you know the kind of sweep she's going to be trying to use? And is there a disadvantage for her not having a gi on?
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's an advantage. I feel like I've been around it all. You know, I've been in the gi for years, and then I've trained no gi for years. I know exactly both those styles. I've been training with both those styles every single day. At American Top Team, we have a huge group of girls, so it's like I get every single look every single day. So I'm ready for anything, really.
Yeah. What's it like walking onto this mat? I mean, I walked in on Tuesday morning. There was a kickboxing class, and there were like pretty much half of the UFC rosters on the mat. You know, you're kind of spoiled for choice when it comes to training partners, right?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So, like, even like when we have Joanna come here or Amanda come here, like I see them every single day, and I'm still starstruck. I'm just like that. Like I can't believe they're there. Like I look up to those girls so much. Like they just have that spirit in them. You can see the reason why they're a champion. Like the way they train and just their mindset, and like Amanda, she's a monster. You know. Like,
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. You have to excuse. We're playing with the blend in the background. There we go. This place is amazing. Do you eat here? Do you come out to train this?
Yeah, no, it's addicting. I have to stay away from it whenever I'm cutting weight.
Exactly. I wouldn't be able to make weight here. I'd be eating acai bowls 3 times a day, and I'd slowly turn into a heavyweight.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm already on my way there, I feel like.
So what's the goal then? Tell me what the goal is with the career. What do you want to achieve before you're retired?
I definitely know that I'm going to be a champion. It's like that's just a fact in my mind. I know that I feel like honestly the only girl who I really see who poses a threat to me in the division right now, I feel like is Valentina. I feel like any girl, like obviously, like I'm willing to fight my way up there, but I feel like I have potential to take all these girls out. I feel like I have such a different type of jiu-jitsu and such a threatening type of game that I have the potential to take to finish any of the girls in the division right now. And it's like like I said, I'm willing to work my way up there. I love this stuff. It's like when I found it when I was 16, I just fell in love with it, and it's really just a dream come true that I'm living this life, like that I get to do this for my living, and that I really couldn't ask for anything else.
Yeah, right. It's pretty cool. What about the Shevchenko eye fight? Were you surprised at how comfortable that was for Valentina? Did you expect it to kind of win that quickly?
Yeah, I kind of expected that. I feel like I said, Valentina, I feel like is the only girl who would pose, like, she's the only girl, like, she has no competition in this division at the moment, you know? Like, maybe in a year or two, like, it'll start changing up a little bit, but I feel like she's just going to be a dominant champ for a while right now. I feel like...
Yeah. I'll give you time to develop though, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still young. I just turned 24.
They're making short ears drink, that's what it is. It's Jose Shortatoria, he's the problem. And tell me about the nickname, the Savage. Where did that come from? Who gave you the nickname?
So when I had my first amateur fight, Dean wrote a letter about me, and he sent it out to my whole amateur team, and he was like, she's as quiet as a mouse, but when she walks in the cage, she turns into a savage. And one of my friends, he was like, oh, a savage. So I ended up just taking it after that.
Does it suit you? Do you watch the fights back and you go, oh, well, I am a savage?
I feel like it suits me. I feel like my grappling style is like I'm always attacking. I'm never just settling. I feel like a lot of times grapplers are boring to watch because they just sit there and settle for a position, just trying to hold on. And it's like it's not necessarily a fun fight to watch. I'm trying to make grappling interesting.
Yeah. And when you get into the back, you love the rear naked choke. You love getting behind your opponents and choking them out. Is that something that's like, right, I think the rear naked choke is the best route of attack in MMA, or was that just naturally a part of your game that you found working really well?
I have a lot of amateur finishes by armbar.
Right.
So it's like all I was doing was arm bars. And then Hannah Cipher, she now fights for the UFC. That was my last fight out of the right before I got in the Tough House. She was my last fight, and I armbarred her for like 3 minutes straight probably, and she did not tap. And like after the fight, she was wearing a sling, and it's like I know that it hurt, but like I was like that it was just pointless trying to attack for that long, and I ended up finishing her in naked choke that fight. And it's like you don't have an option of not tapping with your naked choke.
Sure.
It's either you're gonna go out or like you can't tough it out. But so many girls, they're just flexible and they're willing to tough it out, and it's like, why keep going for the arm?
Yeah, I hear you. So tell me what the ideal finish is in the next fight then.
Oh, definitely rear naked choke.
Really?
I'd like to get a TKO, with the ground and pound, but I feel like my rear naked choke is it's getting better and better every day. Dean and I are creating a system that I really feel like is ahead of a lot of the game in MMA, and we're just. I'm gonna show how it works over these next couple of years. I feel like I'm able to catch girls and guys where they just don't see it, where I just have a unique style, and it's really specialized for MMA, and it's really gonna I feel like Dean's really developed it, and it's gonna be unstoppable.
And you were working a lot of rear naked choke defense yesterday. Do you find that working the defense also helps your attacking game?
Yeah, it definitely does, because it's like
You have to work around.
Well, if I see how I'm gonna defend it, then I'm like, all right, if I'm trying to put my shoulders to mat here, that's what I gotta not let him do. Put his shoulders to mat there. So it's just like backwards of whatever the attack is. But Dean and I just are constantly working the attacking, It's like so many people are looking for the hooks, getting in position, and it's just we're just looking for the throw, always hunting for the throw.
Are there any fighters you like watching? Any fighters that inspire you that you like to watch to see if you can learn something from?
There's definitely a lot of fighters that I like to watch. Now I'm trying. I don't know. I think Amanda, I know, is one that's absolutely like. I just want to be able to develop power like her. I feel like no female has power like that. It just makes you don't see girls back up that easily. They just don't want to be in there anymore. It's insane the amount of power that she has, and it's like I feel like little attributes from a lot of fighters I feel like I can admire, but I don't necessarily have like one specific favorite fighter.
Yeah. So how do you think Amanda does against Holly? What's your prediction for the fight?
I definitely feel like Amanda wins it, but I feel like that's gonna be a tough matchup for her. But I feel like Amanda will be able to pressure her. Like Holly plays on the outside a lot, but I feel like Amanda will be able to pressure her and keep her against the cage and hopefully get the knockout.
And did you learn anything from Amanda's fights against Valentina? I mean, they were amazing fights, but probably Amanda's toughest fights in the octagon so far.
Yeah, I feel like that shows how tough Valentina is. Yeah. I feel like that shows how dominant she can be in this division. Is that she's the only girl that's taken Amanda's decision twice. It's like you don't see she knocked out Cyborg, she knocked out like Misha Tate, Ronda Rousey, anybody, and it's like I think that just shows a lot for Valentina.
Yeah, right, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I hope you get that fight at some point in the future. But in the meantime, good luck with the Frota fight. We'll certainly be watching, and big fan of your game. Absolutely. And obviously Din Thomas, any student of Din Thomas is going to be a real threat to that title. So awesome talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Very cool.